This video guide will instantly help you understand the basics of the newest map Corrode to not look like a donkey and ranked on the first day of it. So let's jump in. I'm gonna tell you my first impressions and also what I learned about the map so far. First thing that you're gonna feel about this map after playing it is that it feels small and big at the same time. It's an oxymoron, and I'll explain to you why do you feel that way. Because the map is small, but the problem is that there's rotations are just taking ages. The mid area is incredibly important. The size of the sides is incredibly small and cramped, so they feel like claustrophobic, but at the same time you have to clear so much space before you go to them that actually will get you any kind of map advantage. So how do you approach each lane? On the entire map, the barriers are incredibly close to each other. You're gonna have gunfights in the first seconds of the game. Literally just A and B main can have a contact within the first second, and so does mid. But let's talk about A main first, and I'm gonna be drawing comparisons to other map so it's easy for you to understand what I'm talking about. So let's start with A main first. On A main, once the barrier drops, you instantly can peek into the main area before the defenders are able to peek out. Because of that, you have an inherent advantage over fighting over this area. Now, does this feel similar to you? Yes, because this is essentially Ascent A main, but on this map, and it's just a little bit tiny different, because on Ascent it was the defender who had the advantage of holding the angle first. Here the attacker has that advantage, and also you cannot do the one way that you would do on Ascent over here. It just doesn't work. You cannot have a smoke over here. I checked with every single agent, and the only one that can have a one-way here is Viper, but it's way too late, so everyone can just cross it. So because of this feels so similar to fighting like on Ascent A main, but the orb position is different. Orb is on the right instead of the left over here. But because of the fact that you have an angled advantage on this side of entrance as an attacker, you can feel confident of holding this angle without any utility. So you can use the utility to go through the second phase of A main. So after traveling like through Ascent A main, we travel to Sunset, because this feels like it is Sunset. Like there's an orb over here, we go to elbow to A side, or we go from the other side from Link. It's so similar, but the problem is there's so many angles that you have to check to go through the elbow that it's just not worth it. That's at least how I feel, because all of this that I'm going through right now is under the control of defense, and this is their spawn as well. So they can rotate through here or through A link, but the entire A side has to be cleared as well. So it's literally the reverse of Sunset. When you attack A side, you don't want to go through the right side of elbow, you would prefer to go from the left side with the majority of your players. So you want to clear this side of the map and then go straight up to A side and now plant in this position over here or this position over here outside of the map like here. So it's better for post plant from outside of this side as well. Now, you can see a problem here, right? You don't control anything. You don't take much of the space. So it's going to be incredibly chaotic and claustrophobic to play post plant in this map. And also remember that when you plant over here, this is you cannot wallbang through this box unless you have an Odin, but Odin also doesn't really like shoot through the box itself. Over here, you would need to shoot it through the edge. So like from here. But that's not easy, of course. Now, the problem with that you don't have a lot of space in the post plant, and how to even approach this. So if I would attack on A side, I would just do a smoke on the right side, do the smoke on the left side over here, and now go forward to take this side over here really fast. What's funny that if you plant in the default spot here on A side, you can wallbang it through this wall over here. It will be pretty reliable. Now you cannot really do it from this position because of the elevation change, so not every single bullet will have penetration because of the ground that you have there. So you would have to aim a little bit higher, so sometimes you can miss because you're gonna be shooting like over the head of someone who is defusing. So just be aware of this. In post plant, you can also just use this small window area to bounce any kind of util towards the spike if you have like grenades or mollies or something. Now let's go to attack B main. Now this is gonna be funny because it's completely the opposite from A main. On A main, the attacker had the advantage to hold the angle first. On B main, it's gonna be the defender who's gonna be holding the attacker first. But what's even funnier, we can draw a comparison to a different map again. Here in this angle, there will be an opponent. Now what's funny is that this kind of feels like Sunset in B main. You have a similar position of the box, you have a similar position on A main. There's no orb in around the corner over here because this is where Sunset would have an orb, but the orb is over here which promotes the attackers. But the angle is beneficial for the defender first, so you have to expect a player in this position instantly after you turn the corner. Fortunately for you, you can use this wall, this broken wall, and the space above it to use utility pieces. I'm also gonna suspect that a paranoia is gonna be instantly used like this over here to just make sure that you can attack into the B main after it. Once we got the space in B main, we have to go through the choke point that goes into the B site. B site is incredibly claustrophobic. It has not a lot of space at all when it comes to planting. It's incredibly unsafe to plant. There's a hard 50-50 angle after the choke point. There's a tower that sees everything going through the choke point, and there's a link that can also kill planters from many different positions. This site is incredibly hard to take in my opinion, and there's also, I didn't mention this, but someone from mid top, and this is the beginning of the round over here, there's a barrier from the defenders here, they can instantly go to B and hold it with the player that is anchoring the B site. If I would have to choose what to smoke when going on this site, I have few suggestions. First suggestion is of course smoking heaven. Now you have to pay attention though to not give the players in heaven too much space. You want to smoke like this, so it covers the ledge, but you don't want to smoke on the edge of the ledge like this, because that gives too much space for the defenders to just fall down and be covered with the smoke for the majority of the airtime. The other smoke that you typically would like to use is the one on the connector, because then the players rotating from mid will not be able to see you when you go into sight. Those are the two basic smokes. Now, I would never smoke over here with a normal smoke because those 2 points are more crucial. But if I would have to like really make sure that we can get to side, I would prefer to do a attacking smoke like this, because this one over here makes sure that the player from heaven doesn't see what's happening, the player from link doesn't see what's happening, the player from the other side doesn't see what's happening as well. Now, unfortunately, most ranked players will call you an idiot for using a smoke like that. But if I play with friends, I would inform them what I do over here, smoke the one on heaven as well. And now we're able to just fight for this side without being exposed to all the angles at the same time. Now I wanted to speak about a bigger problem with this site, which is planting. Planting on this site is incredibly risky. Those walls over here are all penetrable with a Vandal or a Phantom. Now, those walls over here are not. But if you change to an Odin, suddenly all of those walls can be penetrated, but all of the boxes as well. So planting anywhere is just a horror movie. And how do you approach this? I'm actually not certain, because I wanted to show you how other defenders are gonna be holding this and how they can kill you from almost every single angle. Let's say the attackers want to plant in the corner over here, and I'm on heaven with the Odin. I don't even have to be fully exposed. I'm just gonna spam this wall and get a kill on the player in this corner. The same can happen in this corner, and the same can happen in this corner, this corner, this corner, doesn't matter. And if you're smoked off here, well, then you're not really exposed as well. Now, if you want to plant in this corner, for example, on that corner you can easily get the kills as well from every single angle, as well from Link over here. But not only that, even with a Vandal, although this is a very tough angle to find, you can kill someone over here planting as well, as you can see. So all of the angles that you have here are penetrable even from that position with a Vandal. But if you have an Odin, it's almost impossible to plant. One more thing, when someone wants to plant in this corner and you're playing from Link over here, those boxes don't stop you from killing this person with an Odin. It's nuts. So where do you plant? I found one position on this side that I feel like, oh, okay, this is not that bad. Here. Because at least this position cannot be killed by someone standing in heaven. But there's another problem. So it seems like this position over here is the easiest to plant because you're not exposed to heaven. But the problem is that even though you're not exposed to Link, someone with an Odin can still kill you from this position. So you're not safe here as well. Even though your angle looks like this, right? It just goes through and kills you on the edge of this wall. And you're exposed to the other angles as well, because now I can kill you from here as well. So not a single angle over here is safe. Odins are gonna be just, I don't know, incredibly rough to play against on this particular side of the map. So like you have to fight for this side, you have to kill everyone up and not plant. Like, or you need a Sage or you need a Gecko to plant safely on this side of the map. Now let's talk about mid. From the mid area, you start either from here or here as an attacker, and you swing mid and your opponent already has control over it. This is the starting position of the defender. They can literally stand there here at the barrier with an operator and just control mid. So taking mid space is not easy, but you can do a smoke every round like this. I know it's a little bit unintuitive because it leaks, but the point is, your opponents, while fully running with a knife, are not going to be able to beat you with this smoke if you just swing out. So you smoke like this, you swing out, and now you are controlling mid first because of the players coming from your side and from the other side, and they are able to beat the opponents going through their barriers. So now, not only the operator, you know, it's typically a slower player, so they're gonna be wasting time there. They would have to instantly run with the knife and then still peek you here instead of them holding the angle. Now remember, there's a potential of a defender coming from this angle, from A link over here. But it takes a long time, so you don't have to worry about this at the beginning of the round. Your main focus is this area over here and making sure that this player cannot see you on the bottom. Now let's talk a little bit about defender rotations, because this is the main problem of this map in my opinion. This is why it feels big. This is why the map, even though it feels small and claustrophobic, feels big at the same time. If you would like to rotate from my position right now towards the B side, like B tower, through a spawn, it's gonna take you 20 to 25 seconds of running with a knife out through spawn to not be in danger from any kind of lurkers from the attackers. Now, that is just not possible, because in ranked, if people will plant and you have to start rotating then essentially half of the time of the post plant is already gone. If you have to start rotating before they plant, that means that you are starting to over rotate and you lose control of the side that you had been on. So your only options to rotate, for example, during reasonable time frame, is to use this passage from A link or mid top. And essentially A link still uses mid top, because you either go through the A link through here and you go to mid, right, where the opponent can be, and then you go through here, go back to top mid, and you still can be killed by lurkers, and now you're on the B side, on the B link. Now, as you can see, there's clearly a problem because you're gonna be in danger on mid. So the easier way of doing that would be traveling through spawn. Over here, we go from A, we go to our spawn, and now we take the mid window and we shave around 7 seconds from the rotation. We expose ourselves to mid still, but only for like 2 seconds. We run here and now in B link. So essentially, this is a tip for both defenders and attackers at the same time. If you understand how the rotation works from A to B, you know where to expect the enemies. Majority of the defenders are gonna be retaking the B side from this area, from B link. This is the pivotal point, because most of the characters do not have enough time to go for entire spawn and go to B tower or B elbow. So when you're an attacker, you have to be mentally prepared that most of the players are gonna be coming from B link doing the retake. Right? Unless, of course, there's gonna be like a Yoru or maybe a Neon who can shave a lot of time, go for spawn, and then go to tower or elbow. But in general, this is the area that you will be retaking from, or your opponents will be holding because they will be expecting the retake to come from B link on the B side. But now let's talk about the other way around. So we go from B to A, and that is absolutely cooked. Look at this. I'm starting on heaven. I drop down, so I shave a little bit of time. I go through B link, go through mid, expose myself to mid again, go to the mid window. I'm still in danger. Now I'm in safety. I go through here, and I'm still not on site. Now I'm in a CT that can be under control, but this is not the site. And now I'm on site. It is ages. It takes so much time. It's insane. Retaking A side is gonna be a horror, and I don't know how to even do it now right now. We have to play a lot of rounds to understand more about the rotations here. But there's even worse thing is, if you take the route from B tower, right? Let's go back to B tower, and we're gonna take the alternative, which is we jump down, we go again for the same route, but now instead of going left to CT, we're gonna push mid towards the enemies, most likely, the lurker. Now we go jump through, we are completely exposed, and now we're retaking the A side, but this is the A main entrance, and this is the side over here, and we're gonna be expecting the spike to be in those two positions. I don't know. It feels like you kind of have to play 2-1-2 on this map, but at the same time, mid control is so vital for rotations that you cannot really spare playing it with only one player, because you need to be playing more players on mid. But if you play more players on mid, then the sides are easier to take, but retaking on those sides takes ages unless you are already in that direction. So if I would have to advise anything for playing ranked, I would prefer probably playing 2 players on B, 2 players on A, and 1 very aware player on mid that will just be holding it constantly. And that player from mid top can always help with the B link players. Can help from B link to help the B players. And then A still has 2 players that can hold most of it, of the problems from A main, if the player on mid holds the mid stairs. So yeah, good luck playing this in ranked. Remember, this is a first impression video, so I might be wrong about a lot of things, and we're gonna revisit this later on. But right now, I'm very anxious about playing this map in ranked. But we'll see how it goes. Now, when it comes to the agents that I feel like gonna really perform on this map are gonna be as follow. I think when it comes to the duelists, we're gonna have Yoru as the tier S, because he is able to be on both sides at the same time with some of the TP lineups. Unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna be as efficient as on other maps, but I didn't have time yet to prepare them, so I might revisit this opinion. Now, when it comes to smokers, I feel this is a map when you either play double initiators or you play double controllers. So Brimstone and Viper, or Omen and Viper, or we get Fade and Sova, or Fade and Breach, for example, or Gecko as the secondary initiator alongside Breach and Sova would be also great points. Because of the fact that it's so hard to plant on this map, Gecko might be useful. Now, I would personally never play Sage, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the initial stages of the meta game, people will be playing Sage to again improve the possibilities of planting the spike, even like as a basic fundamental thing of playing this game. Now, when it comes to the Sentinels, I think all Sentinels will be playable here, but probably the strongest ones will be Vice because of the global, you know, presence essentially of her, and it's so hard to break this wall, specifically with so many choke points on this map and so many angles to check. And then second would be probably Cypher, although in my opinion you can probably play also Killjoy on this map to very good results, because her ultimate is gonna drive away almost everyone very far away from all of the potential sides of the map. Thank you for watching this first impressions video about Corrode, and you can expect the smoke guides to be released next.